set up my Christmas puzzle. This is the one I picked out. It is so darling, so cozy. The last one I did was also 500 pieces, and I feel like that's a good number for us to stick to for now, not too intimidating. Hey, Benny. There go the puzzle pieces. Thankfully, I have a little helper. Hello, I hope you are well. I am absolutely beaming that it is time. We are getting in the spirit. I'm calling today our Christmas inspiration day, where we sort of daydream about the upcoming Christmas season, get in the spirit, get festive. I did do a little bit of shopping, so I have a haul, a Christmas decor haul. I specifically went to the antique and craft store, and I want to share some craft ideas that I want to do as well. And I don't think I can help myself. I think I'm going to start decorating a little bit today, and tomorrow I have like the full decorating day planned, where I hope to do the majority. But I mean, let's just start setting a few things out. Why not? I made some hot cocoa. Actually I had some hot cocoa last night at a friend's house, but this is our first hot cocoa at home of the season, and we made homemade marshmallows this weekend. I'm gonna take you through the tutorial of the homemade marshmallows now, because I feel like it's just such a fun experience to make your homemade marshmallows, and you could even add some crushed peppermint candy cane or some chocolate. It would be a good gift idea too, so I'm gonna insert that tutorial now. This marshmallow recipe is from Lauren from A Bright Moment. I love following her recipes on Instagram, and this marshmallow recipe is actually how I discovered her. And I like how it's relatively simple ingredients. So first off, you prepare your pan. I used some butter and powdered sugar to lightly dust it, and then you mix the gelatin and a cup of cold water together, and you leave that to thicken for about 10 minutes while you're preparing your water and your sugar in a saucepan, and you basically just let this simmer until the sugar is completely dissolved. And then you're supposed to use a candy thermometer so that you know when your sugar has reached 240 degrees Fahrenheit, but I don't have a candy thermometer, so I just used our meat thermometer, which I feel like is a major no-no, and I don't even think it read the temperature correctly, so we kind of just hoped for the best. And then we poured it into the stand mixer with the whisk attachment, and then you add in the gelatin, which is very thick at this point. At least it should be very thick at this point. And then you beat on low speed for 2 minutes, and then you increase to high speed, and you let this just whip for about 10 minutes. And it should double in volume and be super fluffy, and you add in your vanilla and salt. Not at the very end, but like halfway through your whipping process. So I set a timer for 5 minutes and then did the add-ins, and then pour in your prepared pan, smooth with a spatula, dust with more powdered sugar, and then you just set it out and wait for 3 hours. So it is a little bit of a waiting game, but then you have marshmallows for days. Oh, we also set out the puzzle, which I'm very excited about. It's very beautiful. I still have to flip over all of the pieces and start organizing them, but I'm so excited to have a new puzzle to work on. Also, last night it was really cute. Brandon and Wells and Palmer were on a walk in the neighborhood, and one of our neighbors stopped him and asked if we want to connect lights for our Christmas decor. So have a connecting light strand on our porch. And of course I am down for that. I think that is the cutest idea and I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to decorate the porch in general. My birthday was last month and oftentimes I'll add some Christmas decor things on my birthday wish list. And so my mom purchased this big bow for me for my birthday, and I think I'm gonna put that on top of our door. I feel like that would be a great use for it. It's actually designed to be a tree topper, which also would be beautiful, but one of the crafts I want to do this year is a DIY tree topper with some Christmas fabric, which I'll kind of explain to you later. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our haul. I picked up a few more of these vintage Christmas cards. This is from one of my favorite antique stores, and I already have a little bit of a vintage Christmas card collection, but they're just so sweet. And what I specifically love to do with these is frame them or tape them to some of our picture frames and sort of use them as Christmas festive art. So this one is just darling. It says, from our home or our house to yours. And what's so sweet is that there's actually greetings in here. So that's adorable. This is funny because it says the Bowens, Jean, Ben, and question mark. Does that mean maybe they were expecting a child and they didn't know the name yet? That's the only thing I can think of. And then this one's adorable. This little puppy. How stinking sweet. Hello, it's Christmas. From the time you get up till you're saying goodnight, sure hope that your Christmas will suit you just right. How cute. We're actually taking our Christmas card photos in 3 days at our home, and I've barely decorated at all. So that's my big motivation to get things, besides just being really excited to decorate. That's a good motivation to get busy. Also, how sweet is this little candle Christmas card with the angels? This is actually a vintage Hallmark card. It says, hope you have the merriest Christmas ever. Darling, darling. Oh, and this one was a must. It says, Merry Christmas, son. And the little boy on the front just reminded me of our son so much. So I'm definitely going to put this in his bedroom. Hope your Christmas is tops. Hope the year's happy too, because nothing's too good for a fine son like you. We love you with all our hearts. Mommy and Daddy, 1965. That is so precious to me. Oh, these are just such a treasure. So we found those at the antique store, and then I also found these lights. So they're like these vintage taper candle lights. I would love to know what year they're from. They're definitely like an aged, creamy look. And then I haven't plugged them in yet. So first of all, hopefully they work. Second of all, I'm thinking the glow will be really warm toned because it's quite orange at the tip. So I'll plug those in a minute and then insert the clip. And I'm not sure exactly where I want to put them yet, but there's many, many options. That's one of my favorite things about our home this time of year is the abundance of ambient lighting. That is just a favorite, especially since the sun has been setting so early now. It's just lovely to have all the lamps on, all the candle lights. It's just the best. Oh, this was another birthday gift. These salad serving spoons with the little bows on top. I think that'll be really cute nestled in our little utensil holder, and you can kind of, I think I'll keep them out all year, but they fit for this time of year. Okay, our last antique find is this record, this Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale record, and it's the story of the Elfin Hill, the Red Shoes, the Princess and the Swineherd, and the Snow Queen, which I believe the Snow Queen is what inspired Frozen, Disney's Frozen, so that's really neat. I'm gonna wrap this up and give this to our son for Christmas, one of his gifts. So that's a fun find. And then let's get into our craft store goodies. So I purchased a collection of felt because something that I would love to work on as one of our crafts is felt ornaments. So I'm thinking this brown would be perfect to make little gingerbread ornaments. And then I also got some puff paint. So instead of embroidering all of the details of the gingerbread to make our life easier, we could use the puff paint to create the designs. That's what I'm thinking. And then as I was thinking through that, I was also thinking of our little library and how cute would it be to turn it into a little gingerbread house somehow. Something else that sparked that idea were these little Christmas ornaments. They're meant for a little miniature tree, but most miniature things that I see at the craft store, I immediately think of the miniature library. So we have these little gumdrop ornaments and then these little candies, and I just think these would be perfect for decorating and turning it into a gingerbread. The shape of it already is perfect, sort of gingerbread house shape already, so we'll see. I'm thinking we could use the brown felt to cover it, but I might need more brown felt, and I'm wondering how weatherproof that'll be, which it won't be decorated that way for that long, a little over a month, so decisions, we're still deciding. And then I already have some Christmas fabric from past year's crafts, but I might use some of this for one of our main crafts that I want to specifically do tomorrow when we decorate, because it'll be a focal point, and that is a tree topper. So I found this tree topper, and this is going to be our base. So we're actually going to cover the sparkle sequins, and what I liked about this is that this little spiral holder to attach it or rest it on the tree was nice and sparkly, and it's perfect size. And essentially what I'm going to attempt to do is make a little tree topper out of the Christmas fabric. So I'm going to shape it out of the start and then sew it together, probably with like thicker embroidery thread so it really looks nice and crafty. And then maybe add some other elements like these golden beads. I got these golden beads. And then I really love the moon and the stars, and our son especially loves the moon. He loves to find it every night. So I'm thinking of maybe having the base and then adding some sort of moon element. I'm not sure. We're gonna just like really work it out, craft it out. Oh, another craft I want to do tomorrow is redo the chalkboard in our little playroom reading room. I currently have a anatomy of a pumpkin artwork on it now, so I want to try to make chalkboard art of a nativity scene, which is a little daunting, but I have some inspiration saved from Pinterest, so hopefully we can do that. That's something to look forward to. Okay, I also went to IKEA because something that IKEA has that I love are the paper stars, the paper star lanterns. So I got a few more of those, and I'm not sure if I'll put lights in all of them. I already have some battery operated lights that I'll probably put in some of them, but even if they aren't lit up, they're really quite lovely. So we're gonna sprinkle those throughout our home. And then I found this taper candle holder, which is gonna be saved for a gift. It's not for us, but I just love how wide the base is to catch all the wax, because that's a gripe I have with some of my taper candle holders, is that the wax will melt off and then ruin whatever, or you know, add character to whatever tablecloth you have under it. So I thought that was nice and a good gift to have. And then I also got these tea light holders. Again, I'm such a fan of the ambient cozy lighting. It just, there's nothing like it. I feel like that's such an inspiration from the countries and places that the sun is very few and far between in the winter time. They just create such a beautiful cozy atmosphere with candlelight and those creature comforts. So I thought these were great. Not necessarily Christmas time, it's more so evergreen decoration, but I also like the tea light candle holders too, because when I have garden parties outside, sometimes it's too windy for the taper candles, and they just get blown out every 2 minutes. So this is nice because the candles are protected from the wind. Also from the craft store, I picked up some more white embroidery thread and then these 3 embroidery rings, because what I hope to do with these is make some homemade ornament gifts. So I picked up 3, and I'm not sure if our son's hand will fit. It might be too small at this point because he's just getting ginormous, but if his hand fits, I think I want to do like a little trace his hand and then embroider around his hand. I think that would be so sweet. So we're still kind of brainstorming that. And then I also went to Rifle Paper Company recently, which they have a flagship store, and near us, and they have such dreamy Christmas items. So I picked up these gift tags, stickers, and then some more gift tags so that we're ready for all the wrapping, and these just feel so special and beautiful. I also picked up this tea towel. It's a beautiful Silent Night hymn tea towel, so I'll either keep this for ourselves or save it as a gift. And then this is really neat. This is something I want to start playing with today. It's a paper chain kit. So it's all these pretty designs, and they're already cut, and you just sort of wedge the little pieces together. I'll show you once we set it up soon. But this is really great because then we've made paper chains in the past and just used a stapler to connect them. But then you have to rip it apart to save it. So this is really nice because you can just sort of take it apart and then save it again for the following year and years to come. So I love that. And then this I thought was a good gift. I actually picked up two, one for us and then one for a gift. And they're basically stickers that are designed to be envelope seals. And I thought this would be perfect for our Christmas cards. So I'm gonna save these. It's a whole roll of stickers, but I'm gonna save these to add a little detail to our Christmas card, I believe. So that's it. Oh, I also got some wrapping paper because we're getting there. I guess we could wrap up the record and that can be the first gift under the tree. But I got these two designs. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And then, oh, from World Market, I picked up these paper snowflake string lights. As you can see, I'm such a fan of the paper snowflakes. So I'm feeling giddy. I'm so excited to decorate. We actually were washing our bedroom sheets today. So I was thinking, might as well throw on the Christmas quilt while our bed's all a mess. So let's go do that. Okay, I'm pleased to report the little vintage light works, and it's not coming off on camera, but it is essentially a red light. It is very, very warm. It's pulling very yellow on camera, but it is a cutie pie. I don't know where I'm going to put the other one yet. Last year, I actually put a Christmas tree in this corner of our bedroom, but I'm thinking I'm going to use that Christmas tree downstairs in the living room this year and not put that tree in our bedroom. I might put a different tree in our bedroom that we had in the playroom reading room, because I ended up moving that big Birds of Paradise plant that we have in the living room to the playroom. I'll show you. I'll catch you up once we decorate, but I think it'll just be the Christmas quilt. Keep it kind of simple in here. We spend a lot more time in the living room, of course, anyways, so I figured we might as well use that bigger tree in that space, and then the Christmas quilt is magical enough to make our bedroom feel special. Part of me wanted to just keep this Christmas quilt on the couch too, because I love it so much. And I just want it to be ever present. The record isn't too spooky, because the fairy tales can actually be quite scary. Christmas goodies this morning. We keep most of it in the garage and a little bit in the attic. Wow, 2 candy canes ready to go. Oh, the chair's a good idea. Ta-da! It feels so nice to have the trees up and the extension cord, timer, all of that sorted out, and then tomorrow we just get to focus on crafting and decorating and all of that fun stuff. Also, I'm just excited for when the sun goes down tonight and we get to see the lights all aglow. My little helper was actually helping me so much too. He's very much delighted by all of this coziness and his chair nestled by the tree. He's a fan of that. So I'm very grateful for this day and getting in the spirit, and I'm very much looking forward to all that we have to celebrate in this upcoming season. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you and yours are well, and I'm excited to see you super soon. Bye!